tonight at 7 o'clock. At this time, I'd like to call the Wythe County Board of Supervisors meeting for February the 12th, 2013 to order. I ask everyone to please stand while we have our invocation by Steve Andes of St. Mary's Catholic Church and remain standing for our Pledge of Allegiance.
God of history, we thank you for gathering us together to express our gratitude for the love and life that you have given us. Please give us the necessary graces that we need, the grace of perseverance, that we may continue to do the things that we ought to do, the grace of seeing the right direction, the grace of humility to accept who we are and what we have been into our service. As we gather together as a council to talk, to assess, and to plan what is good for our town, we may never forget to come up with sound and responsible decisions. Grant us the wisdom that we may realize the truth that we are just stewards of your creations. May we love you where we find you. In the words of Saint Francis of Assisi, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born into eternal life. Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, let me welcome everyone for tonight's meeting. We will start off with citizens' time. We've had 4 citizens sign up to speak, and the first on is J.D. Hancock, and he would like to talk about the Wythe County Rescue Squad. J.D., welcome.
Thank you. I'm not here to ask for anything. Again, just here to give you an update. I wasn't able to get the report compiled yet for the month. We did some Medicare revalidation, so it's held me up a little bit. I want to give you a brief overview. For January, we ran 230 calls and maintained an average response time of 8 minutes. We had revenues of $35,208 and expenses of $36,608. But the current cash funds in the bank right now are $30,482. Some other things that we're doing, of course, we talked last month. We told you about a quality assurance program. We've implemented that full force. It's been in force for about 30 days now, and it's working wonders. We found some things with call reports that were not necessarily patient care issues, but reporting issues, some things that may have billed at a higher level if they were documented correctly. Some other things that we've been doing, of course, part of the quality assurance program is patient callbacks. The biggest thing has been a shock from patients. They don't expect to get a call from the rescue squad a week later saying, how are you? How was your treatment? Was everything okay? Was the crew professional? But it's been overwhelmingly positive from the community to say, this is unique, this is different. So hopefully we can work with the other squads and get them to do something similar. Some other things we're doing, of course, our volunteer recruitment, we're still doing that. We're working with Jenna to get some new videos going to expand that countywide. We've had 2 more applications. I understand we can't get 17 new volunteers every month, but if we can keep the ones we've got and keep adding to them, that's positive. We're updating our website. We're going to get some new things on there, some public information, some preparedness, how to prepare your house for EMS if we come, how to set it up so we can get a stretcher in, how to recognize the signs and symptoms of emergencies. We're also, and I'm proud of this one, we've looked at, now that we've gotten settled down and we're able to go back and review the budget, we've looked at some of our expenses, and we found that our oxygen has cost us, of course, a fortune. And we talked to ARCAT, which is located in Rural Retreat, and we will most likely in the next 30 days be switching over to them. I'm proud of that because, for one, they're locally here in Wythe County, and two, it's going to save us several thousands of dollars on the budget every year on oxygen expenses, so pretty proud of that. So does anybody have any questions, concerns, anything positive, negative, feedback about it?
I don't see any, JD. Thank
We
you.
appreciate all your support. We're here if you need anything, just give us a call.
All right, thank
so
you.
much.
Our next person signed up is Linda Myers, and she says she would like to talk about 3 different things, I guess, or the number 3. She's got 3 there.
3 different things, yes, gentlemen, good evening. I was interested if letters had gone out to cell phone providers, and if there had been any response from them.
Letters have gone out with no responses.
No responses yet, okay, well, at least they're doing. Could there be a follow-up if you don't hear from them in 30 days or so?
We'll consider that.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there going to be perhaps a county clean sweep program between the Chamber of Commerce, the Scouts, and so on? Our secondary roads are very messy. There's trash everywhere. And I know that you had spoken about getting inmates and so on and so forth, but could we somehow, through the county, spike community awareness and community participation in cleaning up secondary roads with orange bags, which we can get from VDOT for free?
I think we have something like that in our county now. If you'll go by certain street signs, I know my road that leads down that is patrolled by the Whitfield Lions Club, and out in the county, there are several places like that already that do that. They're actually supposed to clean it up. If they get a sign, they're cleaning it up. It's
Well,
twice
I
a
think
year or
that's
3
on
times a
roads,
year.
Because I haven't seen it. I've seen signs within the town, but I haven't really seen signs on our secondary roads going out all over the place. So maybe we could do some sort of a campaign and
Well,
see if there's
what we
interest.
can do is in the next county newsletter, I know the Keep Virginia Clean campaign is every spring, that we can highlight the Keep Virginia Clean and also how you can adopt a road in that newsletter.
That might help us out a little.
Okay.
Every effort is a good effort. And the money for the historic survey, I was wondering if anything happened. Have we got a historic survey? Has it come out? Is it being worked on? Or what's cooking with that? You appropriated, what, $15,000 last year, and it was supposed to be done within a year. We're way over a year, and haven't seen, heard anything.
Where are we? Actually, I wrote an email. I had the same question
Okay,
back in January. The survey will be presented to the Historical Society in February, and then to the Board of Supervisors in March
at an open meeting.
at an open meeting.
Well, that's a very good thing. And also, I see on your agenda, of course, is the Crooked Road National Heritage Area. I had left printed information with you, and I'm hoping that you have read it and are considering opposing any national heritage areas in our 19 counties. I really feel strongly, if Hartwood has suffered a net loss of almost $1 million, why would we ever entrust them with a area 19 times the size of what they're doing now? So please oppose any national heritage area formations in our 19 counties. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Next, we have Mr. Matthew Miller, who wants to talk about the Crooked Road and the National Heritage.
Correct. I'm going to hand these to Martha. Guys, I'm here to speak with you tonight on behalf of Farm Bureau, representing the board and representing Mr. Jerry Sprecher. Jerry, I think, has talked to you guys in the past. He is in Roanoke tonight. He does serve as vice president of the board. I serve on the board as chair of the Ag Education Committee, but Jerry could not be here tonight. He made this similar presentation to the Whitfield Town Council last night, and the information that's in your folders is the same information that was shared with Town Council. To give you a little bit of background, this issue came before the Wythe County Farm Bureau Board as far back as last August or September. It went before the full board in October. It's been addressed numerous times by our board and full membership at that October meeting. Since then, Farm Bureau has made great strides to try and investigate this national heritage area. Currently, Linda had already spoke a little bit about it, we are of the opinion that there is no opposition to the Crooked Road. There's no opposition to the Crooked Road Trail. There's no opposition to enhanced tourism, to the promotion of music heritage. Farm Bureau has no grievance with that whatsoever. The problem is with this designation as a national heritage area and what that will entail from the federal government. If you look at kind of where we are now, what we'd like you to take into consideration. Farm Bureau, Virginia Farm Bureau, addressed this as well, and they have basically voiced their concern and their disapproval of this national heritage area. There is a letter that's gone to Senators Warner, to Delegate Griffith, and to Senator Kane. They responded, Warner's office responded on February the 8th. They would like to schedule a meeting to discuss this. That meeting has not yet been set. Since then, the Southwest Ag Association, which encompasses Lee County to Pulaski, and Wythe County has delegates on that board as well, met with their board meeting last week. They voiced their opposition for this national heritage area. They have since written a letter, which I believe is in your packet. I think probably what's most telling is if you look at some recent quotes, and I'm going to read one from Israel O'Quinn that kind of sums it up. It says, "After much studying, I have decided that I will not be supporting the proposed National Heritage Area designation for the Crooked Road. Too many questions persist, and our proud music heritage is already being successfully marketed all across the country and indeed the world. I question whether the additional designation will be worth the undertaking of risk." That sums up Wythe County Farm Bureau's position about as good as we could sum it up. The concern is, what are the unintended consequences? Why does the Crooked Road need this designation to get more money? If the Crooked Road is as successful as it is, I don't think they need the National Heritage designation. And then the bigger question, honestly, that we have discussed on the board is, why does the Crooked Road, one, want to move this into Wythe County? I think you guys know if there's any Crooked Road that passes through here, it's got to be a really small piece. And then beyond that, why does the Crooked Road and music heritage represent all of Southwest Virginia? My grandfather was a very good musician, very proud of that fact, but he was a whole lot more than that. And Southwest Virginia is a whole lot more than just musical heritage. So we would, Farm Bureau would certainly request that you look really hard at this. Probably we would prefer if you would oppose the designation. Obviously, it's a federal issue. It's going to have to go before Warner and Griffith and Kane. If nothing else, we would sure ask that you take no action in favor of it until that meeting with Warner, Kane, and Griffith. Any questions for me that I can take back to the Farm Bureau board? We are scheduled to meet on the 21st of this month.
I'll see you in that.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Yeah, no problem.
Next, we have Dale Chrisley, who would like to talk to us about water. Ms. Chrisley, if you wouldn't mind, we have everybody else's address and so forth on permanent record. Tell us your full name and address.
Oh, okay. It's Dale Chrisley. I live at 173 Vineland Lane in Barron Springs. I don't know how much you guys are aware. I called last week and talked to Mr. Crisp. We have a water system in Barron Springs that's owned by an individual, and it's called Barron Springs Water Works. We started getting letters a year ago that this, or well, I guess last April is when he stopped doing water testing on our water. So we were getting letters saying, just as a precaution, please boil your tap water. And now we're getting letters saying he never did his water test. The health department stepped in and did those, and we do in fact have bacteria in our water. So do not drink it or cook with it unless you boil it. And I do have a copy of that letter, and I have a letter that I wrote, you know, kind of to you guys. I'm sorry I don't have one for everybody, but actually for about 2 years we've had not much water at all. I can go days and not see water, and we call him, he doesn't answer. I've been to his house, he won't answer the door, I'm just going to read this to you right quick if that's okay. This is a petition or letter or whatever. I'm sorry, I don't know really what I'm supposed to be doing, to ask Wythe County to help or even take over our water system in Barron Springs. Those of us who reside on Vineland Lane, and there's lots of areas that has his water, but I have found out that only our road is the one that doesn't have water. we not only have bacteria in our water, which makes it unsafe to drink or used to cook with, but we also have very little water of all. Some of us have periods of several days where we don't even see a drop from our spigots. Not only do some of us continue to pay for our water, but we also buy water to drink, pay to launder our clothes, and travel elsewhere to shower. Our water has been unpredictable for about 1.5 years, but as of November, our water has pretty much stopped. I've only used my washer at home 2 times since November, not meaning did laundry twice, I'm meaning I washed 2 loads of clothes. In the past 3 months, I've spent more than $200 at the laundromat doing laundry, and I have a washer and dryer. Also, I travel about 10 miles almost every day to my mother's house for a shower before going to work. I've called our Barron Springs Water Works pretty much daily since November, sometimes several times a day. I have only gotten an answer on a few occasions. I sometimes leave a message but never get a response. It has been brought to his attention several times that we have these problems with our water and nothing has been done to fix the problem. We are asking for your help not only to get water, but also to get water safe for drinking. Now, it was told to me that they were doing the steps needed to bring county water through our area, but that's going to be approximately 2 years. And, you know, some of us can't, I mean, we've had water in the last few days, but it's only because he was told I was coming here. And I have a page of signatures from almost everybody on my street. And there's a couple more people here tonight too from my street that, yeah, that can say, yes, we don't have water. And also I have a copy of the letter from the health department, the drinking water office to boil our water. I'm not sure who I'm supposed to give this to you. Or?
Make sure they'll make copies of the letter and stick it in our mailboxes also. As the Water Committee has addressed this, have we not?
Looked at it, talked about it some.
I was told last week by Mr. Chris that he knew there was a problem with the bacteria, but he thought he was maintaining it. He had no idea that some of us did not have water. And I mean, we have to go and bring water to fill up our tanks to flush our toilets. And that's how little we have. It won't even fill up the toilet tank.
How much trouble is it gonna be for the county to take that over?
Well, in the,
Well, you know, the thing that we talk, yeah, one thing that's a problem is it's a private enterprise. I'm not sure what steps are involved in a local government taking over a private business, if you will. Plus the fact that, you know, the thing that is irritating to us, ma'am, is that we've been getting the same copies of the letters that you have, and they have been saying in each letter that they will take legal action, they'll take legal action, you know, and as far as I know, they have done, you know, nothing.
You're talking about the health department.
Yeah.
Something should be done. I'm not out to get him. I don't even, I mean, I'm not trying to be ugly, but I wouldn't even care if nobody ever did anything to him as long as we get water. And I mean, even if we have to wait, I know county water's coming in a couple of years, but you know, we don't even have enough to do laundry or take showers.
We have started the process, started a preliminary engineering report, haven't we?
we have the report that will be finished and submitted for funding within the next 30 days. One of the things the water department or the water committee talked about is that the health department came and asked us to take over the system. We feel that it's an intrusion, I guess, on private enterprise for us to go over there and say, we're going to take over your system. What we'd like to see is the community, which is maybe the first step, and Mr. Riddle offer the system to the county and say.
We can't even get him to answer the phone.
Actually, we've tried to contact him too,
Yeah.
and
I
we've.
even went to his house, both vehicles in the driveway, knocked on the door, can hear the TV playing, he won't even answer the door. And I mean, I wasn't after him or anything, I was just like, please, I have no water.
Well, they threatened him with a fine of $35,000 a day.
But that's it, it's a threat, and ma'am, I agree with you. I mean, I know that you all are not in a punitive mode, that you want something done to him, you want water, but the thing is, most of the time, when you hit somebody in the pocketbook that are severely threatening them, it does make them, turn around. And
Can we submit a letter to the health department requesting they take action of some kind?
her, I said, can he just do this? Can he just, he is, not, I think on purpose turning our water off, but he's on purpose not fixing it. He is purposely making us not have water, for days, no water. And she said there are actions, and we are taking those steps. But now that was months ago when I talked to her, I talked to a lady in Abington.
Well, they had a hearing at the New River Regional Water Plant concerning, and brought lawyers and the health department and everybody else, people, I guess from the Attorney General's office. Mr. Riddle did not show up to the meeting.
Now, they just fixed our road not long ago, and somehow they were able, every time they were to dig, like they had to dig and put culvert under my driveway, but every time they had him there, because I went to the bottom and asked, because I had to go to work, do I need to put my vehicle out now, or am I going to be able to get out? And he was down there at that time. So they were able to get him out just in case they hit a water line when they were building the road.
Well, I understand they had trouble getting him out.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
now he was down there, so.
Yeah, he wasn't,
I see your concern about taking over a private enterprise, but at this point, it's like, too bad you've not really done anything
And let me
to.
tell you, whatever steps that we can take to help you all and get water as quickly as we can, that's what I would like to do.
Right.
If from start to finish, if nothing else happened and we did let a contract to go, what time span are we looking at? If everything went well and we decided to do that, and
Well, the application is going to the health department because of its emergency nature. Here next month, April, I think, is the deadline for, they would notify you in June. So in June, we could go ahead and, but it's a long ways from Jackson to
Right,
Barron
right.
Springs, so
Right.
I'd say about a year.
I just didn't know if there was anything you guys could do, to take over his system now and try to get us, us folks that don't have any water.
Another problem that we have taking over the system is what type of treatment and filtration and things would be required.
Right.
I would think it would have to be something on the lines of a mini water treatment plant. Is that not true?
Actually, from what number one, we don't know, but what we've been led to believe by the health department is that they think it's treatable with chlorination, just like we do with our well at Max Meadows and the one at Speedwell. However, he has not taken his chemical, bacteriological, metals, or inorganic samples for 3 to 5 years. And I think I reported to you guys, that's the first thing we'd have to do, which costs several $1,000s. And we would come in and evaluate each one of those wells. And I think the letters, you've got 60 or 65 customers or
There's a lot. I
of
didn't
people
realize.
over there on that system. But we'd have to evaluate that and see how to go about it. I do think that the county's got the expertise and abilities to be sure that they have water on a daily basis. But I do think the first thing that has to happen is we have to be able to get a hold of Mr. Riddle. Mr. Riddle has to have some incentive to turn it over to the county to operate.
Yeah, I think the lady in Abington had actually asked him, would he be willing to give it up? And she, didn't say he said yes he would, but she said he pretty much acted like that he would give it up. She didn't say exactly. He said, yes, I will. But, she said they did ask him those questions when they talked to him before the lady at the water department in Abington had told me that. I think she was a secretary of somebody who handles it that wasn't available the day I called. But yes, we know that the water wouldn't be safe for drinking, but, we don't even have enough we don't even have,
You're talking about quantity as well as quality.
Right.
Yeah.
And, any water would be a whole lot better than what we have now. Like I said, we're hauling in water to flush our toilets. And, we can't do laundry, we can't shower. I have a cat in the house. If I clean out her box, I have to have water there to wash my hands, stuff like that. almost 2 years.
It's been 2 years.
Really bad since November. Now, before November, I work evening shift, I get home at like 1 in the morning. I could do a load of laundry in the middle of the night, but as of November, that's stopped. I've had to go to the laundromat ever since. So,
What would be our next step? I know we're doing the, excuse me, the PER.
I think we need to
But
be
that's-
pushing the health department a little bit too.
Well, we had a meeting with the health department here at the county. Of course, they were wanting us to take it over. But our stance then was that he has to come and ask us to take it over. The county's not in a position to condemn a waterworks.
What did they say? I heard a figure, was it $35,000 a day fine? It was mentioned in the letter?
That's what they've threatened him with.
That would get my attention. If
It
they would
apparently
follow through a
doesn't,
little
though.
bit. But I mean, if they'd
Yeah.
follow through, that's the
If
key.
they follow through, yeah.
Mr. Hale.
Mr. Dalton, under what authority does he operate a water system?
He has a permit through the Virginia Department of Health to operate a public entity. He obtained the system from Mr. Loggerhead, is that?
and that was about the time that I moved there. He took it over right after, and I bought my house about 12 years ago.
So there was an existing permit from a long time ago, is what I'll say.
It's
And
my
there-
understanding that he's supposed to be licensed, and he has let that expire, or he doesn't have it. That is supposed to be a licensed person so that they know what they're doing when they are controlling our water and what we get and, you know, the quality of it. And it's my understanding that he doesn't have that license either.
He operated as an incorporator, an LLC, or just an individual?
I assume it's an individual, because all the letters are going directly to him, and it doesn't indicate on those letters. And we put those letters, matter of fact, the board gets a copy of every letter over the past years in the board package when we, but it always is to him as an individual.
Believing that we have some responsibility to the people in the county, could we not assist those people in some legal advice of how they can take an action, not the board, but they can take an action that will incorporate an action against the health department to do the right thing? It sounds like the health department's bogged down in procedural, and they're out of water. Did you get a question out of that? Can we help them?
So I guess, can I summarize what you said, that you're asking
Yep.
the county, direct the county attorney to write a letter to intercede on their behalf to the health department and ask for action to be taken?
Can I make could we make a call tomorrow, and whoever's in charge there at the health department, let them know that this board would like to see some action taken, and the county would be willing to investigate looking at taking it over from Mr. Riddle. Could we make a call? Because, I mean, letters, I don't know.
They understand that, Artie. We had the meeting here, and what we asked from the health department is they do something to force him into asking us to take over the system.
What was the health department's response?
Another letter. I mean,
Yeah.
the
Form letters are easy to send out.
the
They don't get much
Attorney General's
response.
got a cadre of people down there that could file a suit to make it happen.
Okay.
But we'll be,
You can put that in a motion.
In a motion, Mr. Hale?
Yes, a synopsis of what Mr. Dalton said in a much briefer form, but we help these folks move forward under an emergency situation. If this is not an emergency, we haven't had one.
All right, I agree.
I'll second the motion.
All right, do we all understand what we're voting on now? We're going to ask the county attorney to get involved with the health department on behalf of the board and these citizens. Okay? All right, is there any more discussion?
and we'll make a telephone call to tell the health department that's coming.
That it's coming. Yeah, we'll give them warning. All right, I'll call for the vote. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
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 And aye. Ma'am, I hope that gets it started for you. You're welcome.
We want to get you water as soon as we can.
That concludes citizens' time, and we will move on the agenda next to the minutes of January the 22nd, 2013. Does anyone have any additions or corrections before a motion is made?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
All right. Motion has been made that we approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded, we approve those minutes. Seeing no discussion, Mr. Hall.
Aye.
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 And aye, thank you. Next, we have payment of invoices.
Mr. Chairman, before the motion's made, I would request that the payment to South End Construction and that check be taken from the agenda and that check voided. And the,
What page or number is that, check?
Page 42 of the agenda,
Page 42?
check number 3008 4012.
I see it. 41,956.55.
All right, gentlemen, I assume we'll need a motion to take that out, that check out Mr. Dalton has recommended. And the chair's open for that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, okay. Is there anything else in the invoices that someone would like to speak to? All right, we'll call for the vote with the withdrawal of one check. South End Construction, all the other invoices are to be paid. Mr. Horny?
Aye.
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 And aye, thank you. Next, we'll go to old business and a Crooked Road National Heritage Area. We have a form in here from Weldon Cooper Center with several questions, 24 to be exact, that they've answered. And then we also have a letter in your informational pack concerning this, showing a different view.
Mr. Chairman, I placed this on the agenda. We're spending enormous amounts of time evaluating data from both sides. I would ask the board to make a decision whether we move forward as part of this heritage area or tell them to remove us from that.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we oppose the designation of a national heritage area
I
and
second
send the
that.
proper letters out.
It's been moved and seconded that we oppose Wythe County being a designated area in the National Heritage Area. And are we opposed to it, the whole, or just Wythe County right now? I
Just
think
Wythe County.
Just Wythe County, yeah.
Wythe County, yeah.
Wythe County's participation. Any discussion?
I've read all the letters. I can't see any advantage that we gain.
No. I concur. All right, then we will vote. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
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 And aye. All right. Mr. Dalton, you can notify them that we are not signing off on anything, and we'll go from there.
Can you add this won't be on the agenda again?
I can't say that, but I say it shouldn't be on the agenda again. How's that sound?
Actually, under your rules of procedure, only a voting member can bring it back up for a period of 6 months.
I'm not going to.
6 months, no, it won't get me out of here, but we're getting close. Next, we'll have, go to other. Any other old business?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I have a nomination for the Tourism Committee from the Blacklick District. I would like to nominate or appoint Mr. Jim Lloyd. Mr. Lloyd is well-known in the Retreat area and also brings kind of a unique perspectives to the Tourism Committee because he is an advocate of the musical heritage of our area.
You can give a second for that nomination, or we?
I was waiting.
All right. It's been moved and seconded for Mr. Lloyd. Is there any discussion? All in favor of Mr. Lloyd being on the Tourism Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Also, I would like to bring up, I don't know if we would need to vote on this one, Mrs. Booker had considered withdrawing her name from the library board, but has since changed her mind, and she would stay on the library board. So I don't think we really, do we need any action other than just saying that she is staying on. She considered, because of health and other reasons, withdrawing. I'd like to know, workforce development, for a while we couldn't find anybody, and now we seem to have several names. Have we got everybody now named on workforce development? Are we okay there?
We still have too many people. We're trying to sort through.
I thought we had over too many. Usually it's not enough, but this time we have too many, which is a good thing to have.
So
Okay.
we will have that sorted through hopefully by the day meeting.
All right.
One other item under other is the Wythe County Board of Supervisors proposed budget calendar for FY14. You have a revised calendar on your desk. This delays the budget work session for approximately 2 weeks. The week before Easter provides a very fulfilling week, I guess, from Monday through Thursday to do all of our work.
And one of those days is already a board day.
Yes.
So you're only going to have 3 extra days rather than 4.
I had 2 conflicts.
Okay, I knew we could.
Well, one of them was on the 26th. I'm not going to be able to make the day meeting either, but that's just setting the final parameters. But I don't know how important that is in terms of me being here. The other one was on the 28th of March. I would request to move it to the 29th. It's a Thursday to a Friday. Is it Good Friday? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Now, this is when,
We're working, obviously.
This is when everybody comes and makes their presentation.
when everybody comes in and makes
Yeah.
a
Oh, yeah.
presentation, so,
Okay. I can be here for part of the day on the 28th, probably.
So you think you can work some in that?
Yeah, I'll be
session
here
time?
part of that day.
when certainly we can give Mr. Hall any information to anybody.
Well, at times, we don't have people show up during their time slot, as we well know, and we can probably figure about who those people will be and work them into a time slot. They hadn't come for years.
I have jury duty until April. I'll be here. If I'm not over there.
Typically, we have 3.5 days. Maybe we can just strike the 28th.
That works for me.
That's the early release for school kids that week too, for Easter holiday. And maybe, if it's okay, that makes a long day, but a couple of those days just do evening hours, a couple hours in the afternoon, past 5.
Okay?
That's
Figure the
okay.
5, what's the difference between 6 and 7? Yeah.
That's fine with me.
So are we going to strike the 28th as consensus? Hardy, that work for you?
Yes, be great, thank you.
March 28th. Anybody see any other conflicts that they know of as of right now? All right, then, I don't think we need any board action on this. We just take it as a,
Actually, since the board adopts the budget calendar for every year, it'd be nice if you just adopted the revision.
all right.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the budget calendar as presented, stretching
12-13.
the 3rd to 28th.
All right,
I'll second that.
all right. We have a motion to adopt the proposed budget calendar, which was revised on 2/12/13 and eliminated March the 28th as one of the days, with the possible expansion in the afternoon of some other days. It'll be exterior there. Is that
Mhm.
okay with everybody? All right. Let's take a roll call vote on this. Mr. Horny? And aye. Thank you. Any other old business, Mr. Dalton, that you know of?
No, sir.
Okay. We'll move to the capital improvement plan. We have a letter from the Planning Commission with our attached capital improvement plan for fiscal year 13 through fiscal year 18. 13, 14 through fiscal year 17 and 18. Anyone have any questions concerning capital improvement plan? Seeing none, can I have a motion to adopt it?
I would, instead of adopting it today, I would ask that it be, because of the budget ramifications, that you be part of your budget hearing,
Okay.
because
Sounds good. The way I understand the capital improvement plan is if it's not in there, you can't do it, but you don't have to do it because it's in there.
it has to be in there and you can't do it. But I think there's, some of the things we are going to do, and I think just as part of the budgetary
Okay.
process.
I agree with you. I think that makes more sense. So we'll just make that a part of the budget process. If anyone has any comments they want to make on it now before we move on? Okay. The next one, I assume, is informational for right of entry agreement at the old health department with the hospital.
Actually, it's not. This is the hospital has requested a right of entry agreement that we'd be authorized to sign that. The county attorney and I discussed it earlier today. The only thing that we would recommend after that we be able to change is have a date that the right of entry expires on the date of the bid opening, instead of the way it's written now. It's either, it could, if we don't award it, could extend forever, or don't sell the property. We just ask that we be allowed to make that amendment and then authorized to sign the document.
All right, does everybody understand what Mr. Dalton just said? Then I have a motion.
We're talking like a 30 days, 60 days.
No, if the bid opening is March the 29th, I would assume that the right of entry will expire on March the 28th, because the bid's going to be in.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make the motion that we approve this right of entry agreement with the change that we put the date of expiration of the agreement as the day that the bids are open.
Okay. Is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay. The motion is that we have the county attorney develop or amend this form for the date of entry to expire on the 28th of March, correct?
Or whatever the date
Was
of
it
the...
28th March, I believe,
Okay, the bid opens.
on the bid opening. All right, let's just leave it as bid opening and probably better,
Okay.
the specific date. Anybody have any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 7-0. We will move to the George Washington and Jefferson National Forest. We have, I think, an informational letter just telling us about a control burn and building a new trail. Is there anything else there that we need to know about?
There's two subjects: the prescribed burn for the next 10-year period over this one area, and then the new trail, the recreational trail.
Right.
I would like to include this prescribed burn probably in our newsletter for those people that may have breathing problems. Just get the information out a little bit better.
Okay. I think as the county administrator, you can just do that. We don't need any action for that at all. Does anyone else have any discussion concerning the trail or the prescribed burn? Okay. we'll move to the Building and Grounds Committee report. And I don't know who's giving that report. Mr. Hale.
February 5th, the Building and Grounds Committee met. Two recommendations. One, to refer fire and rescue lease agreements to the Fire and Rescue Task Force to present to each department chief or captain, and that's being done if approved. Number two was to transfer.
Let's just take them one, because we'll vote on that, I guess. That's
Okay.
If that's all right, Mr. Hale. There's copies of the leases in your packet, gentlemen. Does anyone have any questions concerning it? All right. The motion is coming from committee, does not require a second. Any more discussion? And certainly Mr. Dalton has something.
These are the draft. I would think that the task force be given the opportunity, if there's subjects that come up in that need modification, that the task force be allowed to modify these to somewhat based off each individual discussion with the fire chiefs and departments.
All right. Technically, that would probably need a motion that they have the right to do that. So if it's all right with your committee, sir, I will ask that that be added as a friendly amendment, that they would have the right to do that.
That'd be fine.
Okay. Is it all right with the second? I don't know who seconded over here.
Nobody seconded it.
We don't have a second
committee.
yet? Oh, it didn't need a second. That's right. Thank you. Keep me on my toes.
Do you need a second on the,
I would need a second on that amendment to it, yes.
I would second that.
All right, now we have a second on the amendment. All right, so technically you should vote on the amendment first. So everybody's in favor of the amendment that gives them the right to work with the fire chiefs and rescue squad task force to rescue squads as far as the lease agreement, say aye. Aye. Now we'll vote on the main motion, which is the rescue lease agreements as amended from the Wythe County Building Grounds Committee. All in favor of this, please say aye. Aye. Now we're covered. Now, Mr. Hale, go to number 2.
Item 2 is to transfer $300,000 from Fund Code 109 PWRF E911 to the general fund and amend and appropriate the same to the county office building construction budget. So
Okay.
recommended.
You've heard the motion. It does not need a second. Is there any discussion concerning this? Okay, since it does require money, we'll have to have a roll call vote. Mr. Hall?
Aye.
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 And aye. Thank you. Is there any new business needs to come before us?
Since you're in buildings and ground, or was,
Yeah.
the old firehouse at Speedwell, it used to belong to the, I guess, the fire department or the community, however you want to look at it. It was never any money spent on it from the county. But when we seized the assets, it became the county's property. It either needs a roof or something's got to be done with it. I would like for the, I guess, buildings and ground to look at that and possibly just, my suggestion would be to tell the fire department, it's yours, do what you want to with it. If y'all want to fix it, fix it. If you want to sell it, and
Take the
money to
price.
the fire department or.
Okay. I would assume that you asked that to go to Building and Grounds, and as chair, I can ask Building and Grounds to discuss it and have it ready for us after their next meeting.
That should be fine.
Okay. Everybody okay with that? All right. Anything else under? We'll see no other further business, gentlemen. We are adjourned. Thank you.